I've said this long time. I wanted to be done with this by the time I turned 40. Now I'm 40 years old. I feel great, and I'm just going to take it one day at a time. I'm going to enjoy fight week, get to Saturday, and then see what happens. You know, get me that brand new belt, and if I walk away, I walk away. You know, if I decide to fight again, it has to be something that truly, truly intrigues me to get back in the octagon.
A couple questions for you here. When you think about that, the totality of your career and everything that you've accomplished, there's a lot of names that people throw around when they talk about the greatest UFC fighter of all time. They talk about, of course, Anderson Silva. Obviously, they talk about Jon Jones. Do you feel like at this particular point, with everything that you've accomplished, doing things that no guy's ever done before, that your name should be mentioned in that conversation, number one? And number two, is there one accomplishment that you can point to where you'll feel comfortable walking away from the UFC forever?
You know, when you talk about the greatest fighters of all time, I think there's layers to it. You know, it's such a discussion in terms of how you are speaking, right? Like a person's ideas is what drives that discussion. I really do believe that when you break down the greatest fighters of all time, anyone with any accusation against their name should be omitted. I just think that's the way it is. You know, in baseball, those guys that had all those things, regardless of what they did, they can't even get in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. You know, so if you have something,
so you're essentially saying Jon is out.
Jon and Anderson Silva out.
And I like Anderson. He's a great guy, great champion. You know, Jones a great fighter. But anytime you have anything attached to your name, I think you should be out. You know, it's not you're not supposed to do it that way. But George St. Pierre, Demetrius Johnson, I think those guys, along with myself and a few other people, should be considered greatest fighters of all time. But again, you'll never come to a unified decision, a universal decision, because it's so subjective.
I know wherever you go, DC, everyone wants to ask you about Jon Jones. I follow Jon on Twitter. I saw he just tweeted, no matter what DC says, there will not be a third fight because he's not going down and I'm not coming up. Is there a reaction you have to that?
Not necessarily. You know, I mean, I think we both feel pretty secure in our positions, and you know, if it's to happen, we'll figure it out. You know, if I'm going to fight Jones, I've always said it would be at 205, but do I really want to do that again? And do I really want to fight Jones again right now? You know, there's been so much negative tied to something that could have been so beautiful. You know, even if he'd have won both fights, everything could have been, you could have experienced the highest level of mixed martial arts, but we've had so much negative tied to it that, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I didn't even know he tweeted that, but whatever. I don't really pay much attention to him.